ask, do you have a financial plan? Well, a recent survey showed that most Americans don't, and the recent pandemic did force many to take a hard look at their finances.
Yeah, sometimes, though, that hard look brings up more questions than answers. The pros at Arbor Financial Credit Union can help with making or upgrading your financial futures plans. Take a listen. As part of the Rebound West Michigan, Fox 17 has partnered with Arbor Financial Credit Union, and there's kind of a silver lining with this pandemic. People have taken a harder look at their finances, and with interest rates on mortgages and auto loans at all-time lows, now might be a good time to talk to one of their experts. Let's check with Ben for more information.
Yeah, the silver lining of the whole pandemic has been that people are managing their finances a lot better, and they're taking deeper looks at it, and they're making good decisions. But when we look at certain things, so think about this, right? We go to the dentist twice a year. We get our car oil changed every 3,000 miles, or we should. There was a recent Gallup survey that said less than 30% of Americans actually have a financial plan. Well, how are you going to make good decisions if you don't have a plan? Furthermore, that same poll, average Americans are paying $1,200 a year in unnecessary fees or charges that they necessarily don't have to pay. They're just, their finances are on autopilot, or they're just not making these good decisions with that. Schedule an appointment with your financial institution, bank, credit union. Talk to somebody. If you don't have a relationship, now is the time to start it, because again, when you have an oil change, you go to a professional, right? Going back to that same thing, but there's a lot of people that just choose not to do with their finances, where they're living on the day-to-day and they don't know where they're heading. And that's not good when you think about retirement or even long-term. Once a year is a good start. Obviously, people are gonna have different situations, different money roll in different directions, whether they have kids, spouse, stuff like that. So it might be more, but it's definitely a good start. It allows you to see the big picture. And then also, you can't forget your monthly budget, right? A lot of people will say, oh, I went and saw the dentist, right? You don't stop flossing and brushing, but you keep going. So the same thing, so when you see a professional, that's just to make sure that everything you're doing is on track, big picture, but you should still be managing your budget monthly and still having that. And nowadays, it makes it so much easier. I don't want to say back in the day, but 10 years ago, this financial technology didn't exist, where you can literally plug in your expense categories, budgets. You can get text alerts, emails, whatever your notification, SMS, to actually let you know you're either close or over this budget. So it literally cannot get easier. It just comes down to you making a choice of where you want to go, right? What do you want to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What does it look like? A lot of times people come in, let's say they're 10 years out from retirement, and they're like, I want to have a condo in Florida. Well, you're too late. And it's sad news, but there's real math to it, and obviously the better that you keep it on top of mind, like Todd, like what they say best is to be fluent in something is 20 minutes a day. Or if you want to learn a language, talking about it for 20 minutes a day is going to help you be more fluent. We don't want people to be financially literate. Financial fluency is definitely the way to do it. Now, again, all the stuff that we've talked about over these last few months is definitely still at arborfcu.org. If you are a current person that doesn't have a banking relationship, or your bank or credit union doesn't want to help you out, come to Arbor. You can go to arborfcu.org. You can set up an appointment for free, come in and talk to us, and we'd love to work with you. So the first thing to look at is the basic stuff. Are you getting charged fees on your checking account? Are you getting charged fees to use the ATM? Are you getting charged interchange fees? Are you getting charged too much money from depositing too much money on your business account? Believe it or not, those are real fees that people take on. And the next step is to look at your loans, right? If you have over a 2.5% car note, it's time to look. If your mortgage rate's over 3.5, it's time to look. If you have a recreational vehicle and it's over 4.5%, it's time to look, because the rates are so low that you, the consumer or the member, are making out. And then you literally don't have to waste that $1,200 a year that people on average do, from making bad decisions. Besides even banking, think about insurance reform, right? A lot of people didn't realize that I think it was beginning of March, there's been a lot of changes. If your insurance agent hasn't called you up to cut your rate essentially in half, it's time to find a new place to go to, right? Because you're literally paying double the amount of insurance and premiums that you have to for the same amount of coverage. I personally, my insurance guy called me up when it switched, and I saved $165 a month, right off the top. Same insurance coverage. And so that's another thing to be considering, is looking at these other things that are not just financially related. They are money coming out of your pocket, but there's other avenues. Think about even like standard HSA savings rates. They're better nowadays than they have been. If you're sitting in an old account, you can make a little bit more for your healthcare costs. All of this information is at arborfcu.org. Again, you can go there, you can read the information. You can also set up an appointment to meet with someone virtually or in person. We do things like credit review, really to give you a good step forward, and we're just gonna do what's right for you. A lot of times when people even take one bit of a chance with Arbor, they never leave, because we're the one credit union they most value and trust.
It's a great place to go if you have any of those questions, or if you just want to start getting that plan set. To learn more about ways Arbor Financial Credit Union can help you out, just visit them online at arborfcu.org.